JD. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and please hit like, and thank you all for subscribing to my channel. I reached beyond 10,000 subscribers recently, and it was all based on watch repair. Now, I did put a short on that was funny. It was a Johnny Carson short with Anne Margaret. Didn't realize how much attraction that video would get, or attention it would get. Anne Margaret, very beautiful woman, and Johnny was so funny. I threw that in, and all of a sudden it's up to 2.7 million views. So I'm not sure whether people enjoy watchmaking or Anne Margaret. So you can tell me which you think is more enjoyable, watchmaking or Anne Margaret, and tell me if you want me to do a video on the comparison between watchmaking and Anne Margaret, because I will do that video and I'll keep it light. But right now we've got what I call the Tim watch here, and I got this running last week. I apologize for not coming on sooner because I've got cottage season and I'm wrapping that up really soon. And I have responsibilities as a husband and grandfather. But this is a watch I got running again, so I'm again hoping and praying that when I turn this little winding mechanism here, that the thing starts running. So it's been running well. I gotta flip glasses here. You can see that I'm a bum today because I've got my Sean Connery beard going here for some reason. So, but I still can't see for shit, eh? So let me just get this bench key in here and see if I can wind this up a bit and get it going. There we go. I love when a watch just starts to run right away when you wind it. So I'm going to reassemble this watch, but the first thing I need to do on this watch is glue on that crystal. So I'll glue the crystal on today, and I'll show you how I do that. And I've got the I think I've got the watch ready to go to be put together. This is a swing open case I've got here. Let me show you the case here really quickly. This is the case here, and what I've been doing lately is putting rubber bands around my my lids, and this helps prevent the lid and the material in there from flying off. So here's the case. I've got the hands in here too. Looks like I only have one of the two hands. Am I missing a hand? I'm not sure. I'll have to check the other case because I'm sure I had all the hands for this. Maybe I didn't, but I thought I did. And this hand might have another hand stuck to it. No, it looks like there is a hand missing. I'll have to talk to my buddy Tim. I do have another case here that might have that hand in it. This is the leftovers from this watch here, and I don't think there's another hand in here. So I don't think there is. I think there might have been a hand missing because I didn't lose any parts. And this is the leftovers of making the balance staff, and I only have these two hands here. This is interesting because if that's the fact, then we're only going to be able to install the hour hand and only be able to tell the time every hour. Now I'll find another hand for this. Just joshing, just kidding here. So it's not in there. It's not in with the movement itself. I know I didn't put this in with the movement itself, and I know it's not attached to the movement. There's no hands on this yet. It's just the movement ticking away nicely. Thank you very much. And I only see one hand here. I don't recall having to find another hand for this, so I may have to do some searching and hunting. And so not sure. This is a mystery. I love mysteries though. So the mystery of the missing hand. So let me show you what I've got here. So this case here is a swing open case. So you really have to make sure that it's not like this, that it's out like this to get the stem out of the way, or you can break that stem. And then the case just swings open like that. So you install the movement, and then you swing the case down. And what I'll do is install the hands and and finish it off with the movement installed. So because I like the stability here, and I may want to use a hand press for doing this. I'm still a little bit flabbergasted that I wasn't looking at three hands in that case because I haven't really moved anything. So I may have to do a little bit of hunting, and I'll look at my older videos, maybe my disassemble video, to see if I had that extra hand somewhere, because if I did, and it somehow found its way out of that compartment. I'm not sure how that happened. So, but nevertheless, I do carry a bunch of replacement hands that I may use. I may have to use if I can't find that extra hand. So, don't know where the hell it would have gone though. I don't think I've ever lost a hand that I had. I'm gonna have to look at this movement again, and when I disassembled it, did it have that hand or was it missing? So that's it. So that's the swing over case. So the other thing here is, do you finish the case nicely or not? So this is a nickel silver case, as it says, American Watch Company there. American Waltham, I think that's American Watch Company, American Waltham Watch Company, AWC CO. So that is an original authentic case here. It's got a little bit of a bend here, but I think that's where the screw went down, and people were very anxious screwing this thing in. And I did just clean up the back a bit. There's still some of the polish stuff is on the back, but I think it's good just to leave it like this and not try to shine all the scratches off it, because I've talked to many people, and this is what gives the old vintage pocket watches personality. And if you start taking off some of those scratches, it loses its personality. I'll clean up some of the leftover polishing material here. Like you see, there's black here around the rim, and that black is just leftover from the polish. So if you ride your thumbnail along the edge here, you can actually collect all that black stuff off of that and just get rid of it. I just dumped that in my shorts, so. And so it's reasonable to do that, but it's probably not reasonable to start polishing the heck out of this case. It would make it look better, but it's not as authentic when it's polished like that. Anyway, you can give me your opinion about that. I'm dropping lots of dirt on my mat here, which is not good, but it's reality. I should have covered the mat first, right? Before I start doing case stuff, cover the mat. I always scrape Rodico along the edge too, to make sure that if there's any stuff in there that's going to get caught up by the Rodico, just dump that. Yeah, I did a little tiny bit of polishing before on this case, just to get rid of the major inconsistencies and marks and stuff like that. I don't need to pound out any dents or whatever. It looks pretty good from a dent perspective. There is one dent right here, but the dent right here will be impossible to remove. That's you'd have to go on the inside of the case right there and try to find some block where you could hit this on the inside. It's just not worth it, right? So the main challenge here is this crystal. Now, when I look at this crystal, this I believe this was the original crystal. Again, I'll have to look at the early watch here, but this crystal is fitting in here now. I did take a bit of glass off of it, and it's now fitting nicely. There's a little tiny bit of looseness, but what I can do here, I want this crystal to fit solid. So what I'll do here is I will install the bezel onto the movement like this. So we'll screw that onto the movement. We'll do that right now. I've already cleaned up the edges there. There is a bit of corrosion on the edge, but I've removed a lot of that corrosion on the edge of this case here. I just want to make sure it screws on properly. And then once I get this bezel screwed on correctly, I can put the crystal on. So I can see it's causing me a little bit of heartache here. I could use my rubber ball to help me turn this on, but I'd rather not do it the easy way. I'll just fart with it like this. So that's probably on enough, and I know that the lines, I can see the lines on it are lined up nicely. Let me get the rubber ball for a second. Reach over, and I think this is why people tell me they like my videos, because they're more live than they're less produced, I think. So, and the rubber ball, you can just grab that like this, and then it'll grip whatever it's gripping, and it gives you a really good grip. So look at that. So I'm going to tighten that case, and when I unscrew the case here, I can move it around so the threads are nice and loose. But I'll tighten it like this, so that's tight. And then I'm going to use a bit of glue to put a bead of glue around this edge. Now I want a bit more glue on it than normal, so this thing here will stick nicely. and I can see it feels like it's rocking just a bit inside the bezel. So I want to make sure that I don't have too much of a rock in here, and when it's in, because the bezel, this is an old bezel, probably there's leftover stuff on that bezel, right? And also I want to take a piece of Rodico, it can be an old piece of dirty Rodico, and just go through the edges here a bit. So I'll try to do this. The other thing I can do is put a plastic crystal on here, and I might see what that looks like, because the glass crystal is rocking on here, and it was quite common. It's rocking here back and forth like that, so I think there might be a little bit of twist in here, and the glue might help that, and we'll see. But I could see if I could source a plastic crystal and put that on, but it might be slightly domed, but it would look really good with that on, or use this, not sure. So let me look and see what I got regarding plastic crystals of this size. Now, I purchased a while back a really solid collection of old plastic crystals of all types, although I had other crystals and other glass crystals and stuff, but these are traditional old plastic crystals. So I'm going to measure this to see what size I'm looking at to start off with, and I'll click my mouse right there. I'm just going to use this gauge because I'm going to be doing a lot of fitting, so I don't need to be very specific, and there's a ruler on this gauge. So if I'm looking at a crystal size, I'm looking at like a 40, what is that? That's a 42, like somewhere around a 42 size crystal. So if I look in my world of crystals here, I'm not sure which ones are which here, what they look like. If I go down to, what's this, a 448, 28 millimeters, that's 28. Now these are all too small, 28. So I need something that's like a 48, which would be Flexo Crystal GS inserting machine. These are all the all-purpose GS. 35, 36, I'm going to move the watch out of the way here. 40, 42, so there's a 42. There's a 42. Let me just throw the rubber band in here to mark my spot. So if I look at a 42, what am I looking at? This is kind of what a 42 looks like. And this is obviously not the same size. This is way too small. So is this 42 or not? So I think I said it was 42, but this is not a 42. It says 42, but it's not. So let me just put this back. So let me grow it up here and see if I can get something bigger. 45. So I'm just going to get a 45 here. I need some card or something to put in here. Let's put an old business card in here, my old job. There's a 45 HC, but this is for a hunting case. This is obviously not a hunting case, so I don't need this one because I want to save those for later. So this is a 40, there's a 48 here, but I'm not sure if this is a hunting case as well. We may end up going with the glass crystal, by the way, but I'm just going to work my way up. And those are hunting crystals. I can tell how flat they are. So they're meant to go, if you have a watch that has got a case, a cover on the case, this is what these crystals are for. So it says Flexo Crystal, and on top it says hunting case only. If only I had read that. If only I had read that. Oh yeah, 48, hunting case only. So we don't want any of these hunting case crystals. There's a ton of them here. We go down to the department of non-hunting case maybe. Here's a 51. Let's see how close to the 51 this thing is. These are big, fairly big crystals. This looks kind of hunting as well, doesn't it? Hunter, extra thin. So I've got myself a great collection of hunter crystals. So these are all hunter. This is probably hunter as well. I'm not sure. No, this is not hunter. So this is a 51. PK 45 millimeters. Let's see what this looks like. That's more like it. So that's a nice crystal there. And Let me see what the fit might be. I'm going to dump the other crystal, even though I may still use this. I just wanted to show you how you end up doing a fit on this. So if I look at that, that's a bit too big. It does look nice though, but it's too big. And if you see the look on that, that just looks so sharp, right? The reflections on these plastic crystals are amazing. And these plastic crystals will scratch as much as any crystal will. So this is a 51. So obviously a 52 will be too big. These are all 52s, so I'm looking probably at there's a 52 and a half, a 53. Oh my God, these things are getting bigger, not smaller. 53. These are massive. Yeah, massive, I tell you. Massive. So that's a 53. I think I did this little hunting job before with you guys. All right, so there's a 47. But then it says LC54, so they've got 47 millimeters, but it's a 54. Just throw that in like that. I'm curious as heck to see what they mean, because I think all the standards are different. And if you look at that, it's almost covering the whole darn watch. So this is great for when I need large crystals, because the larger ones are usually the harder ones to get a hold of than the small ones. So 54, oh my God, 47, 55, even bigger. My God, how much crystal do I have here? 48, 49. These are for size 18 humongous watches. 49, 58, 52. There's a 52 on the back end here. Let's see what this thing looks like. Look at the size of this thing. This is a 62. This is a 62. Here's the watch. This is a big watch. Look at the crystal. Oh my God. That's massive, folks. Massive. 72. I actually have a 72 crystal. When am I going to use a 72 crystal? Look at the size of this bugger. And it's glass. Just in case. And it's waterproof, it says. 72 and waterproof. Oh my God. And I've got some smaller ones here, but they're too small, I think. So let's go back. Let's get to this row here. So this row says 39, 43, Flexo Super Quality, Hard Surface, yada, yada, yada. And Savata. I'm just going to put my card in here. So this says it's 40 millimeters. And that's too small. I can tell that's too small. Like that. I'm trying to compare this to what I've got there right now. So 40 is not what I want. So let's see if I can climb up a little higher. 41. Let's go to 40. There's 46, 41. These are all 45 and a half. Not sure what size these ones would be. Just before I rip everything open, I'm just going to see if I can size it this way. That might be the right size. So I'm just going to carefully cut this open and try not to stab myself. So I was talking to people that have a little kit like I do for getting your immediate tools. And one of the guys, I think Watch with Mike is the guy. So Watches or Watch with Mike. And Mike ensures that he's got alcohol on all his pointy stuff so that when he does inevitably get stabbed, that's very close. It's close, but a little bit bigger would be required. So this is a 45 and a half, but it says 41.6 millimeters, and I had 42 I think before, so that's 46 and a half, 45, 46, 41.9. I think I wanted something bigger. Anyway, Mike sterilizes all of the needles and stuff he has so he doesn't get stabbed by it and then get infections. This looks like a big one here. See how this one fits. Ooh, that's getting really close. See, that's actually nice, but still a bit too small. And this is 40. What is this? This is 46 and a half. So we're looking at 47 maybe. There's 47 or 42 millimeters. There's another 47 and a half. I'm just seeing if there's one that's open here that I can test. This one here looks like it could be open. No, yes, no. 42.8 millimeters is what this one is. So I could go one down, but I'll try this one out and I'll cut this open. Yeah, GS, still the best. These are good crystals, I gotta admit. I'm cutting the bottom of it so I can save the writing on that side. And so GS is a company out of the US that I bought my my crystal press with. So you can look at the quality of that crystal. It's just really nice, right? And I'm just going to see how this one fits in here. That is friggin' almost perfect. There's a little bit of movement there. So what I could do is, there's just a tiny bit of movement. And this one is not, it doesn't look like it's rocking at all like the other one does, which might be the glass that caused that. So this one is definitely a candidate, and that's 42.8 millimeters or 47.5. This is crystal hunting, right? So you're going to do this with any watch repair you do. You're going to need to 47.5. So I'll leave this one like this, facing up, and then see if I can find maybe the Stella crystals are a little bit different here, because they're not GS, but they're still same. They're saying 47.5 for a Stella crystal. Let me have a look at how this sits in the watch. The measurement is almost exactly the same. So that will work. It's a little loose in there, but not much. Just no, it's not. It's nice. It's nice, and it's no scratch is brand new. So it's, do I do that? I put this in the brand new Stella crystal. It is vintage, so it's not like it's a brand new crystal of any type. It's an old crystal. So that's 47.5. So 42.8. 42.8. These are all 42.8 millimeters. These are all 42.8 millimeters. This one also says it's 42.8. Let me see if it's lying or not. No. That one's also 42.8. So close. So close. 42.8 there. And then let me look at this. This one looks like it was taken out, crushed, and put back in again, because the paper is all kind of ratted up. Those are all 42.8. I'd love 42.9 if I could get it, or 43 maybe. 43.1. So it doesn't want to go to. Yeah, they're all 43.1, 43, 42.8, 43.1 PK, low dome for pocket watches. I don't necessarily need low dome. And there's 43.1, and it's already been cut open. Other watchmakers have obviously tried to fit stuff and had to break open one. So if I look at this, and I look at the fit, it is so close that you may want to compress that into place, or just, do I compress that into place, or do I use the other one? I think I may use the other one, because this one here looks like I could take my crystal installation device, compress this, and try to snap it in, right? There's a very low lip on here, though, so there's a chance that this compressing in would pop out because of that lip. It seems like it's a little bit too big, so I don't want to take this chance. That's not. It could compress in. I could glue it and compress it, but at the end of the day, it's more likely to pop out. And that's 43.1, and I don't have any. There's 44, 43.1. Yeah, this is a nice collection of crystals, though. So I think 42.8 is the game, right? 42.8 flex crystal. This is low dome. I don't necessarily need low dome, so 42.8, 42.8. Let me just put this back where it belongs. Are these all low dome? Rounder surface, harder, low dome. These are all low dome, low dome. Low dome. Don't necessarily need low dome. They all seem to be low dome though. This one is not low dome. 42.8 for pocket watches with step for easy fitting. Doopy doo with step for easy fitting. Pocket watches. This one is low dome. Oh my God, stop the low dome. 42.8. I guess they're all low dome. Does it really matter? The glass one was also low dome. So let me look at this again. I'm going to grab one of these here and see what it looks like. I might as well grab one of them that's open, right? Even though it says low dome. See, you're going to make sure that these crystals are in good shape, and they are. A little bit of dust on this, but that's it. And you go on like this, like that, and that looks pretty darn good. That looks good right there. So I could glue this one in, and let me check the glass one again and see what kind of movement I have on that crystal here. This is the glass one. The only concern I have with this one here is that it seems to rock a bit. Just a tiny bit. It may not matter once I get it installed though. I don't like that rocking. For some reason this crystal wants to rock right there. And I'm not sure why. If I put this crystal in here, and let me check and see if this thing rocks too. Not really. Well, maybe a tiny bit. So it may be the bezel action. But I know I could glue that in nicely, so. Let me think. What do you think, guys? Glass or plastic? Glass or plastic? What do you think? Glass or plastic? This one, does it have any scratches on it? Yeah, it's got a few. This has a few scratches on it. It's limited, but there's not a lot of scratches, but there's a few. Sorry about the babbling here, boys. It's got a few scratches on it. But it is glass, which is more authentic. It's a little bit loose. And then this one here, I could go through my million other glass crystals because this may be where I found the darn thing. This one's a little loose too. It's got the same little looseness as the other one. So, I think I will put the glass one back in and just put enough glue in there that I don't have any issues with it staying. Seems like it's got a little, well, it's not rocking now. And now it's rocking a bit. I turn it this way again. And it's not rocking right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this. I'm going to mark it with a little tiny black mark on here, which would be for up. So my black mark is now a red mark. I'm just going to put a red mark on it, and that's up. So now when I glue it in, this will be up, and it doesn't seem to rock that way. And when I glue this in, it should be solid. So I will try it out. I'm going to glue it and see what happens. In the meantime, I'm going to put this Flexo crystal back. It's pretty much the same, but the authentic glass one will go into the repair, which is kind of cool. And I have a ton of glass crystals that I could use, but this one's not bad. And just to show you, I've got boxes and boxes of glass crystals. If I didn't have this one here, I'd be digging into all my glass crystals to find one that would fit, but I got one. So pre-gluing, I've taken my man's best friend Rodico, and I've Rodicoed the edge of this, and I've already cleaned it up. I used a screwdriver to get rid of any inconsistencies or metal that was in there before. There is some corrosion on the case, but you're gonna have to leave it like this. This is a restoration or repair of a very old watch, so I'm not too concerned about that. It's running really well over here, by the way. And I've got GS Hypo Cement here that I'm going to use, and what I'm going to do is put a bead of Hypo Cement all around the bezel here. I'm going to try to do that in one shot, and then close that off before it's unclosable. And I'm going to use my watch paper to help me here. Now I use the watch paper that I have here just to clean up the needle on this, and you put a line of cement all the way around the edge, and then put the crystal down, and then put the line of cement first, and then let it dry for about a minute till it becomes a bit gooey. Then put the crystal down, and then I want to put a weight on top of that crystal so it's pushing it down nicely, and the cement's kind of grabbing it. That's the way you want it to be. So I'm going to do that activity. I had to lower my seat a bit. I apologize, but I lowered my seat a bit to get at this. One of my eyeballs is hiding. I need to tighten my lens here. I think I need to put a little bit of a tightness on my lens. So once you take this lid off and you squeeze a little bit, you're kind of committed. So you got to make sure you do this quickly enough. And there's a needle there, and you want to make sure that needle, you see there's a needle there, and then there's the pin that goes inside, and you can see the cement's already starting to come out. So I want to make sure that I'm spreading that cement right away. Now I can keep the liddy part of the spreading on the upper side, or I can just do this. And this will help me spread the right amount of cement in there. Now I'm going to put a little bit more than I would normally put in there, and that is just going to help me adhere this to it nicely. So, and it'll get a little bit gooey, which is nice. This is the way you want it. And then once I get to the end of this, I'm really not applying much pressure at all on this container because this stuff comes out pretty fast. And I'm just spreading it around to make sure that all parts of the L-shaped cornering here is covered. It's completely covered. And I'm coming up to where the end of it is, and then once I come up to the end of it like this, that's the end of it. I want to put this back in, so I use the watch paper to clean off the tip really quickly, and then I line this up as fast as I can and put that inside like this. Try to put it inside. Okay, that's working now. Yeah, okay, good. And then once I get it inside like that, I also use the watch paper just to clean up the outside of it, because it'll ruin the it'll adhere to it, and then you'll never be able to get this thing in and out again. So there we go there, and then I get it in, I push it in. So now I'm going to let that dry for a few seconds. I want to make sure this is a little bit gummy when I put the crystal down, and I have a weight I want to put on that, and it's the same weight I used to hold down my microscope, but this is the weight right here. It's a beast of a weight. It's an anvil, and I'll put a cloth down, and then I'll put the anvil on top of the cloth. So I can do that right about now, and I'll just slide that crystal in like this, like that. Make sure it's in there. Push it down like this. And any cleanup I can do later on the edges, if there's any spill, like overspill, say I just got a little bit of stuff on there now, but that'll come off later. I'm not worried about that. And then I just take a cloth like that, put that over the top, and then I'll drop the anvil on the top. So once you've got the got it in place and it's fairly secure, this is the big ass anvil I have. This thing is probably about a pound or two, maybe 2 pounds. And I just sit it on top of the crystal like that. It's not going to go anywhere. I've done this routine for quite a while. Just make sure it's centered and it's not going to fall off or anything. And that puts enough pressure on the crystal so that the glue will set in and grab around that crystal. So that should be fine like that. I definitely have to tighten this thing up. We'll see how that's done in a second. How to tighten, I'll make another video on how to tighten the airy loop. Maybe I should make a airy loop video just on its own. So thanks for watching my channel, and I'll catch you in a few minutes.